Imagine you're diving in the icy waters of the North Atlantic. Visibility is low, the water's near freezing, and suddenly you lock eyes with something straight out of a nightmare. A massive, oversized head, jagged fangs jutting out even when its mouth is shut, and a stone-cold stare that says, "You're next." You've just met the Atlantic wolffish, a creature so bizarre it looks like a deep-sea cryptid, but it's horrifyingly real. And this isn't some abyss-dwelling anomaly that lives 5 miles down. No, the wolffish roams relatively shallow, coastal waters, and its terrifying face isn't just for intimidation. Its jaw is a weapon, built to crush sea urchins, crabs, and even hard-shelled mollusks like they were candy. But here's where it gets really weird. This underwater menace survives in water temperatures close to freezing without freezing itself. That's because its blood contains natural antifreeze proteins, an evolutionary cheat code that lets it thrive where most creatures would simply die. So why has no one heard of it? How did a fish this strange, this powerful, and this crucial to the ecosystem stay hidden in plain sight? And why, if it vanishes, could entire parts of the ocean suffer? At first glance, the Atlantic wolffish looks like a monster somebody forgot to finish designing. It has a huge, blunt head, an elongated eel-like body, and a permanent scowl that makes it look like it's ready to bite your face off, even when it's just minding its business on the seafloor. But this isn't just some freak show fish. The wolffish, Anorhynchus lupus, is a real species found in the cold waters of the North Atlantic, from the rocky coasts of Scandinavia all the way to the frigid seas of Newfoundland. It prefers depths between 50 to 500 meters and likes hanging around rocky crevices and seaweed beds, waiting to ambush its next unlucky meal. Despite its terrifying appearance, it's not huge, averaging around 3 to 5 feet long and weighing up to 40 pounds. But size isn't what makes it terrifying, it's the face. Its fangs aren't just front and center, they stick out, even when its mouth is shut. And inside are rows of molar-like teeth used to grind and pulverize anything with a shell. It's not just weird, it's perfectly engineered for survival in cold, unforgiving waters. And its design? It's not random. Every part of this creature screams, built to dominate. The Atlantic wolffish isn't just hiding scary teeth, it's practically a walking medieval torture device with gills. Its bite isn't about tearing flesh, it's about crushing. At the front, those long, canine-like fangs are made for grabbing and locking onto prey. But go further in, and you'll find rows of molar-like crushing teeth lining both the upper and lower jaws. Not just one row, multiple layers of grinding plates designed to destroy anything with a shell. Crabs? Gone. Sea urchins? Obliterated. Clams? Doesn't stand a chance. And yes, it can crush shells like they're made of chips. Why such overkill? Because in the cold, rocky bottoms where the wolffish lives, everything is armored. If you want to survive, you need a jaw that doesn't ask permission. Sea urchins, green crabs, lobsters, most predators avoid them. The wolffish doesn't just eat them, it controls their population. That's not an exaggeration. In areas where wolffish populations dropped, urchin numbers exploded, leading to the destruction of kelp forests and throwing entire ecosystems out of balance. Think of them as the ocean's unappreciated pest control. Its jaws are so strong that scientists often find shell fragments in its stomach that show clear crushing patterns. And unlike most fish that swallow prey whole, the wolffish actually chews. It breaks its food down before digestion, making its feeding process disturbingly efficient. Even stranger, these jaws keep getting better. As the wolffish ages, it regenerates its teeth, constantly replacing worn ones with sharper, stronger versions, like an evolving weapon system built right into its mouth. This is a predator that doesn't chase or ambush. It sits, waits, and when something walks too close, it crushes it to dust. Most fish can't handle water even a few degrees above freezing. The Atlantic wolffish, it thrives in it. This creature doesn't just survive in cold water, it lives in temperatures as low as -1 degree Celsius. Water so cold it should literally freeze its blood. But here's where things get wild. It doesn't. That's because the wolffish has something special running through its veins, natural antifreeze proteins. These proteins prevent ice crystals from forming in its blood and tissues, even when the surrounding water is below zero due to salt content. Without these proteins, the wolffish would freeze solid and die. And it's not alone. A few other Arctic and Antarctic fish have evolved similar adaptations, but the wolffish is one of the rare temperate zone species to do it in the North Atlantic. It's swimming through conditions most creatures can't even tolerate a liquid icebox, full of predators, limited food, and freezing temperatures. But cold water isn't just cold. It's dense, oxygen-rich, and can slow metabolism to a crawl. Yet somehow, the wolffish not only survives, it hunts, grows, and dominates in this frigid wasteland. Even its physical features are built for this. Its thick, muscular body conserves heat, its slow metabolism reduces the need for constant feeding, and its lurking ambush behavior fits perfectly into an ecosystem where speed doesn't always mean survival. What's even more fascinating is that its cold water adaptation isn't just a flex of evolution, it's a requirement. Remove the cold, and its biology starts to fail. Warmer water disrupts the delicate balance these antifreeze proteins maintain. The Atlantic wolffish isn't just built for the cold, it's bound to it. And in an ocean that's getting warmer every year, that specialization could turn into its greatest weakness. It's easy to look at the Atlantic wolffish and think it's just another weird predator. But what if I told you that this fanged fish is actually holding entire ecosystems together? The wolffish doesn't just eat sea urchins, green crabs, and hard-shelled creatures, it keeps them in check. In places where wolffish populations thrive, urchins stay balanced, kelp forests grow freely, and biodiversity flourishes. But when the wolffish disappears, everything collapses. Without predators like the wolffish, sea urchins overpopulate fast. These spiny creatures then swarm kelp beds and devour them entirely, turning once thriving underwater forests into lifeless urchin barrens. That means fewer fish, fewer habitats, and a breakdown of the food web from the bottom up. And it's not just about the urchins. The wolffish also targets green crabs, an invasive species known for wreaking havoc on native shellfish and seabeds. So in a way, the wolffish is doing double duty, controlling both native pests and invasive threats. Scientists consider it a keystone species, meaning its ecological influence is far greater than its numbers suggest. Remove it from the food chain, and you don't just lose a predator, you risk a cascade collapse across the ecosystem. But here's the twist, no one's really protecting it. Despite its ecological importance, the Atlantic wolffish isn't as iconic as sharks, whales, or sea turtles. It's often caught accidentally as bycatch, ignored in conservation efforts, and lives in habitats vulnerable to deep-sea trawling and bottom disturbance. This isn't just a creepy fish with a scary jaw. It's an underwater janitor, bouncer, and gardener all rolled into one. The ocean doesn't just benefit from it, it depends on it. And somehow, most people have no idea it even exists. With a face like that, you'd think the Atlantic wolffish would be famous. But somehow, it's almost completely unknown outside of marine biology circles. Unlike orcas, great whites, or even blobfish, blobfish, the wolffish just doesn't get the spotlight. Why? Simple. It's not flashy. It doesn't leap out of the water or star in viral clips, it just sits there lurking, crushing shellfish like a biological nutcracker in the dark. And while that might be incredibly cool from a science perspective, it's not the kind of behavior that gets turned into a Netflix documentary. No acrobatics, no epic chase scenes, just raw, silent power. It also doesn't help that it lives in cold, remote waters, far from tropical reefs or bright, shallow seas. Its natural habitat is dark, rocky, and freezing places few people explore or film. Plus, it's often misidentified as a mutant eel or ugly bottom feeder, which doesn't exactly help its PR. But here's the real problem. Its numbers are shrinking. Overfishing, habitat damage, and climate change are all threats. And yet it barely gets a mention in conservation efforts. This isn't just a forgotten fish, it's an endangered monster. And if no one knows it's there, who's going to protect it? The Atlantic wolffish isn't a myth. It's not a deep-sea fantasy or a horror movie prop. It's real, it's vital, and it's slowly disappearing without anyone noticing. With jaws that crush shells like glass, antifreeze flowing through its veins, and a job as an ecological enforcer, it's one of the ocean's most underappreciated giants. We talk about saving the whales and protecting sharks, but maybe it's time we start giving some love to the monster, fish keeping everything in balance. If you enjoyed this dive into the unknown, hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to meet the wolffish.